Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, congratulations, season 2 of Sanditon. I mean, for all of you, you must be very excited to be joining the show. Alexandra, if I could start with you, please.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Are you excited to be here too?
That was the question. I thought it was like, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm thrilled. Loved Sanditon season 1 and the scripts of Sanditon season 2, especially for Charles. I've never sort of read a sort of character like him, and was sort of headhunted by Justin Young to come on board, and just had the most fun with filming in Bristol with these lovely lot, and got to do some amazing stuff. And yeah, I think season 2, especially with the 6 episodes that we've got for season 2, is even stronger than season 1. So yeah, I'm thrilled about it.
Character is very flamboyant. He's an artist, and he's quite a bohemian. Is that how you would describe him?
Yeah, a bohemian, a peacock, a dandy, a bit of a rebel. He loves freedom of speech and loves speaking his mind. Maybe when he gets him into most trouble. You know, he's brought into Sanditon to be as a sort of commission paintings for other people, and falls head over heels in love with Georgiana, which sort of starts the journey for season 2. But yeah, he gets himself into trouble. He swims naked in the sea. I think I've got arguably the best entrance in Sanditon history. It's kind of like a rock star entrance coming out of the sea with a sarong and a beautiful gown. And I will credit Rosie for giving the best facial reaction. There it is. Like
I've never seen a man in a sarong.
Never, and she's
as Alison or as Rosie.
Watching that back was fun, seeing Rosie's reaction. So thank you, Rosie.
And Rosie, you're in Sanditon in pursuit of a husband.
I'm a woman with a plan to find a man. Yeah, I think it's so exciting. Like Alex was saying, you audition for these characters and you have a couple of sides to sort of figure out who your character is or what you think they might be. So actually then getting the part and getting the first 3 scripts, I was like, oh wow, I get to go on like a total journey. And I was sort of delighted with what I got to do as Alison over the series and over the 6 episodes. I think she has a sort of lovely arc in it, which I'm excited for people to see. And yeah, she is mentioned, well, actually in season 1 as another woman, very briefly, and then sort of mentioned in...
She was much better.
Yeah, she wasn't available. And then it's referenced, Charlotte writes to her, so it's like she's heard all about Charlotte's time in season 1, so is so ready to have her own go when she first arrives in Sanditon. So it's very exciting, and I was very excited too.
And Frank and Maxim, I've seen the first couple of episodes, so the military are in town.
And we're here to...
And I'm thinking there's going to be, without giving too much away, a little bit of rivalry for Alison's affections. Would I be far off that?
No, I'm here to facilitate Captain Carter's wishes, his goals for Sanditon. I'm only there as an aide.
And I was speaking to Kris and Turlough a moment ago, and when you're sort of actors and you obviously prepare, you research your roles, and then you know your character inside out, and then you kind of put the costumes on, and particularly in a period drama, does that kind of, I don't know, really kind of help you inhabit your characters, really? If I can ask Maxim.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the whole military regalia just immediately means you're standing up straight. You're really holding yourself in a proper gentlemanly way, although whether Carter is that, we'll find out. Yeah, no, it was amazing. And we were talking about before the fact that these men would actually have to sleep in all of this gear just gives you some perspective on just how rough that kind of life would have actually been. Although Frank's character probably would have been more experienced on that front than mine.
He wore pajamas in secret.
Yeah, off camera.
and Frank, for you, because you're all kind of new to the show, was it difficult coming into because there's such an established cast there already? Because was it hard to kind of integrate yourselves, or was it because you were all new, you were kind of all in the trenches together, really? Yeah,
there was a bit of both. I mean, all the returning cast were so nice. They made us feel so welcome. But yeah, I guess in our own storyline, we were all kind of new. So there was that too. Like we were all in the same boat there. So we had the best of both worlds.
And what's great about the show as well, Rosie, I'm going to ask you, is that the characters and the themes within the show are very relatable, even though it is a period drama. On a human level, what people experience, love, loss, grief, they're ambitious. There are all themes that we can relate to, that can relate to a present day audience.
Definitely. Because I used to sort of think about it like she's never left her home village of Willingdon, and she's going to this seaside resort, which is sort of the height of sophistication, and meeting gentlemen for the first time and going to balls for the first time, and really stepping into the sort of society. But it's very similar to like myself leaving Glasgow and moving to London and meeting new people and starting like entering the professional world. Or I used to sort of think about it like someone leaving home and going to university and sort of just figuring it out themselves, making their own mistakes. And I think that's the thing with Alison. She's told, but she really just has to make her own mistakes and figure it all out herself this season.
True, it's true. And Alexander, there's such an appetite for long form storytelling now. It's wonderful to be able to sit and see a film, but the beauty of serials is that we can really kind of spend more time with the characters and get to know them, and for you guys to kind of explore the different facets of your character's personality. Is it kind of a blessing, I suppose, that long form storytelling is so in vogue?
Yeah, no, it is. And I feel like, people have been saying this, I think the last every 5 years, people say we're in the golden age of television, but I really do think that we are, because it's getting better and better. And working on Sanditon, we had 2 directors for 3 episodes apiece. And what's lovely about that is that they come with their opinion, you come with yours. You've got the execs, the showrunners, and obviously you've got Jane Austen as the sort of Bible for it. And what's great is that in a film you'd have one director and you would sort of mind that over however many months. Whereas this, everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's got your fellow castmates have all everyone chips in. And I filmed 2 and 3, so it was like 7 months from start to finish towards the end, and you really get to mine a character and really get to develop it, and different directors come in with different opinions, which means that you get to sort of take it into a different level and switch it around, really. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to inhabit a character for that long. Just hope that the character's not a dickhead, because then you wouldn't want to.
And with regards to kind of like the sets for you guys as actors, it's really your space and the space that you work in to help inform your characters is so important. And with this show in particular, it just feels like the locations that you have are just a blessing. Maxim, what's it been like kind of working within the locations and sets that you've been working in?
Yeah, I mean, every time we turned up to a new location, it was just kind of bewildering, like the attention to detail that they'd gone to, like things which the camera's not even really going to catch, but as soon as you arrive on set, you feel immersed, especially like the army camp. So as soon as you arrive there, the fires are smoking, and all these amazing teepees set up. Just the way that was kind of organized. You don't even really have to use your imagination. As soon as you just arrive, you're kind of, it's easy to embody your character, how he's interacting in these kind of environments. yeah, it was incredible.
And Frank, you know, the writing is kind of first and foremost where you guys start. And of course, this is based on an original kind of Jane Austen novel that wasn't completed. There feels a real kind of respect to that source material, yet the stories and the themes again feel very contemporary. Was the writing something as well that very much attracted you to the show?
Yeah, these kind of projects they're great for actors. They allow you to explore such different facets of things that you wouldn't get to with more contemporary writing, maybe. So I had never really done like being part of romantic storylines before, so that was really exciting for me. And I think there's there's so many storylines that you don't get to approach nowadays with like kind of more modern stories. So
and when you're sort of preparing for a role like this, Rosie, do you watch the original show to get kind of a feel of what it's about before you kind of turn up for your audition?
Yeah. And luckily, when I was auditioning, it was replaying on ITV, so I could watch the first few episodes. So when I was auditioning and I met with Charles Sturridge, who directed episodes 1 to 3, and I was like, I've seen it, I get it, I can sort of, because it totally sets it up. And you might think that, I think there's this maybe an opinion that period dramas can be a bit dry, but it's, I think, totally full of life and quite witty and funny as well. So it was good to see that. And actually, although there's sort of quite a lot of drama, it's definitely intertwined with quite a lot of humour and sort of lovely moments as well. I thought, just a shout out to Flora, like the addition of like Leo and Augusta this season was really nice. Some younger characters as well brought a lot of life to it. So it was good to sort of just be able to watch the first few episodes and definitely soak up the atmosphere of the show.
And you know, Alexander, when you're working on a show like this, that I imagine there are historians involved. Are there things, and I suppose it's a question to all of you, that is there things that you learn about British history from, I mean, I know there's artistic license as well, but are there things that you've learned about that particular time in English history that you didn't know?
Well, what's really one of the main storylines in season 2 for Georgiana, for Crystal's character, it's the slave trade and the sugar boycott, which I was completely fascinated by, because obviously it affects Charles. And I think I have a speech in, I think it's episode 2, where, you know, he's in the middle of all the war, all the soldiers, and sort of says about Napoleon Bonaparte and all this sort of thing. I basically, anything that's in the script, I'm like, ooh, and I sort of do a little bit of research. And I know Crystal definitely had some historians on the show to really sort of try and make sure that the writing was where it needed to be. And I think she was happy with who they got in, I think. So don't want to speak on her behalf, of course, but yeah, the sugar boycott for me was really interesting. Frank?
Learned so much about the military life back then. It's so different to what we know it as now. It was very much kind of a class-based system almost. So that was very strange, as you see with how Carter gets to the same rank as Captain Fraser. What's that all about?
People nowadays can't buy their way into certain positions. It's clear. It's completely different.
That doesn't happen at all now.
Yeah, well, it was an incredible time of just modernization, that period. I have to credit this to the Time Traveller's Guide to Regency England, which I got about halfway through that, and then it was just like England was changing from this like quite backward, extremely religious country to really starting to actually become the modern world which we still like see today. That the seeds of what we have now were really sowed during that kind of 40-year period, and especially around the time of Sanditon.
Fantastic. And Rose, for you, what did you learn?
Just, I think, to sort of like echo onto this, sorry, I'm in this lovely man's office, by the way. No problem at all.
A lovely man in the back.
Yeah, Very, very kindly been able to use this room. I'm in a pub in Glasgow doing a show here. It looks like I'm in a bit of a dungeon. I'm not in a dungeon. It's very nice people.
You couldn't make it up.
Say that. Anyway, or more Glasgow, great for a pint. Anyway, I think important to say how women were being treated differently to men then, and how difficult it was, the pressure put on women to marry well and support their family, to just like sort of make their goal finding a husband and not really have any dreams or aspirations for careers. So I think that's why it's such an important storyline for Charlotte in this season, that she sort of goes against the grain. And it's interesting sort of playing Alison, who is of the mindset that it's not a duty and it's only a great thing to look out for a husband, but it was good to sort of just learn about the pressure that was on women, and how sort of stuck and trapped in the like form of control they were and stuff. So it's really amazing that there's characters like Charlotte and Georgiana who sort of try to fight against that and were the sort of trailblazers, which led us to get into setting dungeons and pubs today.
Oh, thank you so much for your time, all of you. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and best of luck with the show. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey,